I am Matthew McConaughey. For 6 months, that's the only thing I got offered. I give a quick read, no, pass. Do a quick read, no, pass. Then they'd come back and they'd raise the money, the offer. I turned one down with a $14.5 million offer. And that was a turning point. After I turned that one down, no offers for anything came in. I was 8 years old, I believe. And the town that I lived in, Uvalde, Texas, had one theater called the Lasso Theater on the main street, and we lived 2 blocks from it. And I remember there being a poster that I would look at for this movie called Orca, about the giant killer whale. And on the poster, the whale was like the size of a 747 jet. Whoa, look, I've never seen, there can't be a whale that big. Orca's so big, this is amazing. And I snuck in the movie. And Orca was not that big. You know, I only watched 3 films in a theater before I was 17. So I've never been the hugest theater goer. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I don't know if that's part of the reason why. Maybe. The illusion in my mind was better than the reality. You know, I didn't grow up around the arts. We didn't grow up going to cinema. I didn't grow up watching television shows. And I grew up in a very blue-collar family that was, you get a job and you work your way up the working ladder until you get job security. But acting and the arts were never even part of the discussion, nor were they part of the dream. I mean, I look at what my mom would say when she would not let us watch a television show or even read books sometimes. She would say, don't watch somebody do something you can do yourself. Get outside and go do it. She was very experiential. Everything was about go experience it. Don't be a voyeur in life. Go. And so we had rules. If it was daylight, you had to be outside. Like I said, very minimal media in our family. So I look back and I go, in an indirect way, that's acting. That's great acting lessons.
Thank you for that, Mama.
But look, the transition from me wanting to be a lawyer to being an actor, it wasn't until I was 21 in college and noticed that I was not sleeping well with the idea of becoming a lawyer. And I had been writing short stories and been, you know, playing characters and with my friends and stuff like that and studying myself and other people. But I didn't have the courage to think I could follow through on it. I had friends that said, you should go into the storytelling business. You behind the camera, in front of the camera, you're writing great stories. You've got good character. You've got good presence. Like, really? Really? Yes. So they helped me, give me the courage to say, I want to go to film school. And the only reason I got into film school, because I didn't have a film, I didn't have a piece of art, was because my grades were so good. That got me into the honors program in the College of Communication to go to film production school. And then once I was in film school, my grades went down, thankfully, because I learned a lot more when I started making C's than when I was making A's. I had a certain sense of self and identity and a confidence. I had an ability to be myself and behave in front of the camera somewhat honestly, which is a lot of what acting's about, especially if you're getting started. But I didn't take any classes. I never studied my craft, so I was 6 years into my career before I took really my first acting class, if you could call it that. And I started to study my craft and learn what I obviously already had the instincts for.
Say, man, you got a joint?
No, not on me, man.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
My junior year in university, I had gone to this bar with my girlfriend. The bartender I knew took me down to meet this guy that was at the bar who was in town casting this film, Dazed Confused. Me wanting to do some acting and performing, introduce myself. 5 hours later, we get kicked out of that bar, and this man says, hey, I think you might be right for this part in this movie. I'll leave a script for you. Come down tomorrow, pick it up. I pick up the script. I go get it. There were 3 scenes, 3 lines from my guy. I read for the role. I get it. Now, I get called in to do what's called a makeup, hair, and wardrobe test. Richard Linklater, the director of Dazed Confused, comes over and sees me, looks me up and down, likes what he sees, says, oh, this is great. This is Wooderson, da-da-da-da-da. And I said, all right, man, well, I'll see you next week. Because next week, the week later is when I was supposed to have my first day at work. And he goes, hang on a second. You know, the scene we're shooting tonight, Marissa Ribisi's playing the redheaded intellectual. Today was the last day of school. She's got a bunch of her nerdy friends in the back seat. You think Wooderson, who's my character, you think Wooderson be interested in the redheaded intellectual in school? And I'm like, oh yeah, man. Wooderson likes all types of chicks.
You know, when Matthew showed up, something special was definitely going on.
Wooderson really only had a couple lines and a couple scenes. It really was a small part.
I just think what he did with that part, people don't know. You know, on the paper, it wasn't much of anything.
And things got rewritten and things got staged around him.
Next thing I know, I'm in the car getting a mic put on me. I start to get a little anxious because it's my first scene, first movie. There's no scripted words, but I'm Wooderson, and I start to go in my mind, who's my man? That's a question I always ask myself. Who's my man? Who's my character? What am I about? As this mic's getting hooked up, and I'm like, I'm about my car, man. And I look around, I go, well, I'm in my 1970s Chevelle right now. There's one. I said, I'm about rock and roll, man. I said, there's two. I said, I'm about getting high. He's always got a doobie rolled up, so we're definitely high. There's three. And then I hear, action! And as I put my hand down on the gear to take it from park to drive, I look up over there, and there's the redheaded intellectual played by Marissa Ribisi, and I say to myself, and I'm about picking up chicks. Put it in drive, and as I pull out, I say 3 affirmations of the 3 things I do have already: my car, rock and roll, and weed, on the way to go get the 4th. All right, all right, all right.
All right, all right, all right.
Oh, Christ.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
That was what that was, and it came out of my mouth. It stuck with me. It began to precede me. It began to introduce me. People liked it. They liked how it made them feel. And anywhere you're going, or anything you want, if you throw an all right, all right, all right on it, it gets a little better. It gets a little cooler. It gets a little more fun.
To that I say, all right, all right, all right.
I got hired for my first job, Days Confused, without any experience, and I got on screen, and I was able to have the confidence and the identity to be my character, and I improvised a lot. Now, cut to 2 years later, I'm out in Hollywood, and I've gotten a little bit of work, but I was a time in my career where I was like, I was getting tight. I was starting to think I needed to learn what it was I had the instincts to do. I didn't have the courage to go try and learn it, like to really take sincere classes. I dabbled and looked from afar at some classes, like going, yeah, I think I need to learn how to study a script or break down a character, but I didn't really do it. I was coming out of every audition going, damn it, you were tight, you were conservative, you didn't take that risk. You had an opportunity of inspiration and you quelled it, you stamped it down. And I remember leaving auditions going, I wouldn't get the job, but I'd also be like, damn it, you don't know if you could have got the job because you didn't give all of yourself. And that was bugging me. So I get this one offer for this movie, no audition needed. I got offered the role. Drug runner on the southern border, the coyotes bring over the drugs, basically kills the coyotes, steals the drugs, and goes off. That's the basic scenario. Well, I get this idea that, you know what, the reason I've been so tight lately is that I'm starting to think too much about acting. I need to quit thinking so much. I don't need to learn this. I need to go back to just trusting my instincts like I did in the beginning when I knew my character. I knew my man, and you could put me anywhere and I'll just improvise and be my man. So you know what I'm going to do on this role? I'm not even going to read the script. I'm not even going to read the scene. All I want to know is the scenario, and I'll go there and I'll be my man and do what he would do. Okay, bright idea, McConaughey. Let's see how this goes. So, I get my wardrobe, my makeup. I know the scenario. I've got a backstory written for my character. I haven't read a word of the script. I haven't read a word of the scene. All I know is what the scene's about. Now, I'm on the set that day. I'm on my mark. We're about to say action. Evidently, I start to get a little anxious and nervous about my plan because I look over at the production assistant. I go, hey, can I see the sides, which are the small version of the script notes? And my thinking at the time, in the moment, I remember it very clearly. I was like, I'll look at the sides. I'll look at the scene right before I'm about to do it because it'll just be, it's like a cheat sheet. I don't need the sides, but let me look at it. And if it's written well, I'll be like, well, of course, that's what I would say and do. And if it's not written well, I'll just do what I would do anyway. Well, I look at it, and I look at page 1. And I look at page 2. And I look at page 3, and I look at page 4, and all of a sudden I shut the sides. And I remember saying this. I remember saying out loud, I said, can I get 12 minutes, please? And the director goes, sure. Now, why did I ask for 12 minutes? Because on those 4 pages that I decided not to look at until right before we're about to shoot the scene was a 4-page monologue by my character in Spanish. I was like, oh, shit. Oh, no. So I walk off with this thinking that, hey, 12 minutes. Number one, it's not too long of a time to inconvenience the crew that's waiting on you. And it might be just enough time to learn a 4-page monologue in Spanish because, hey, I took a semester of Spanish in the 11th grade. Oh, no. So I walk off and I'm looking at this thing and I'm trying to be cool to keep it. You got this. You got this. Yep. Yo lo valgo de la cena con dos amigos. Yeah, you got it. That's the accent. Yep. Anyway, 12 minutes passed. I came back. I did the scene. I've never watched the scene. I've never watched the movie. I don't know what I did. I'm too embarrassed to watch it.
Ni siquiera era necesario que viniera. Yo le pago para que deje a mis hombres pasar con la coca. No para que les robéis, los mate en la frontera.
¡Hey! Yo no robé.
Boy, I learned a lesson that day. I pulled over on the way home, started crying and beating the steering wheel with myself. It was just me, and I was like, you son of a bitch, no. I remember going, I never want to feel that feeling again. The anxiety, the embarrassment, the shame, the guilt. From now on, you will be prepared so you can then have the freedom to improvise. So you can then have the freedom to create and riff. Reign of Fire is a great one to talk about because I was playing an apocalyptic dragon slayer. So it's like, oh, how do you prepare for that? There's not a handbook. Let me use my imagination. So I remember thinking, okay, I'll go away to my brother's ranch in the middle of the desert with nobody within tens of miles. I'll get up every day at sunrise. I'll have a shot of tequila for breakfast. Bam, because that's what a dragon slayer would do. He'd have fire breath. And I'll go for a 5-mile run barefoot across the desert every day at high noon when it's hot. And it'll toughen up the soles of my feet because a dragon slayer would have tough soul. I'll stand on top of the barn with a 40-foot drop down to cement and see how close to the edge I can get and bring my pulse down to a good resting rate. Because a dragon slayer would have that composition, a mental strength to have poise under pressure. I said, I'll go out at midnight every night and I'll wrestle the cows. It'll be my workout. I'll break a sweat. I'll get bruises. My skin will get thick. Because that's what a dragon slayer would do. Well, these best laid plans did not go as intended. On day 7, that shot of tequila in the morning, I gagged it up. I was like, damn, that's horrible. On day 10, at midnight, one of those bulls head-butted me and I got knocked unconscious and got a concussion. And woke up in the middle of the field going, whoa, that didn't work. On day 13, I had been running barefoot each day across those hot deserts. It was in the summer in Texas, which are unbearably hot. I had these blisters on the bottom of my feet like the size of, like that big, a large oyster. I could barely walk. And as much as I wanted to get my heart rate down standing on top of that barn looking down, I never got within 4 feet of the edge and my pulse was still high. So all those plans went down the drain. I didn't succeed at any of them. But on the way out before I went to Ireland to go shoot, I was like, well, you've put yourself through a lot of pain. A dragon slayer would do that. written a bunch of that stuff, but I don't remember saying and doing it or even thinking about doing it in the moment. That's just the beating of the chest and the that's a ritual I do, and I've been doing long before Wolf of Wall Street and continue to do. It's a relaxation technique. I've fully prepared by the time we get to that scene. Now, the music is now we don't think about it. It's not an intellectual process now. Now, what's the music? Get in the flow. Who's my man? What's the moment? Where are we? We're at the restaurant. I'm having a martini. Got a little bump over here. Gonna teach this kid what's going on. So there's a rhythm and a meter to my man, where I am, how I speak, how I feel, what's going on below my waist. So I get a different tune in my mind for each character, for each scene that I do. And musically, it puts me in a place that takes me out of my head, because you don't want to be in your head as an actor when it's time. You don't want to be thinking about shit. You want to be doing it instinctively. So music gets me out of my head. It's not an intellectual process. And so that's what the music is about. Plus, the beating on the chest, if you're anxious, performers out there know this. It lowers your voice. It relaxes you. It takes the voice down to your abdomen, and it gives your voice more resonance. And the third product is it makes everybody else in the room look at you like you're out of your mind, which is good. Because if everyone in the room thinks you're the weirdo, then you're on an island and there's freedom there, and you like it. I like it anyway. The romantic comedies were doing well in the box office. They were making the studios money. I was getting paid well. So all of a sudden, that formula, I was getting offered all the romantic comedies. And then I did another one. It succeeded. Then I did another one. It succeeded. Then I did another. It succeeded. So all of a sudden, I was the go-to rom-com guy.
Oh, are you okay?
I simulate one.
Can I have a drink tonight?
I tried to make them hard for when I first got started. And I learned, like, no, that's the point. They're supposed to be easy. Can you keep the easy, breezy, lightweight, bouncing from cloud to cloud buoyancy that keeps a romantic comedy afloat, which it needs? I was seen as the guy, McConaughey, in the successful rom-com so clearly by the studio and the general public that all of a sudden, if I wanted to do anything else, a drama, the industry was like, no. Stay in your lane. Do another rom-com. You don't get to do a drama. And so the success of the rom-coms sort of eliminated the option of doing any other type of film for a while.
You calling my bluff?
You bet I am.
I remember it was about 12 years ago. I just had my newborn son, Levi. So my life was very vital. My life was very alive. And I remember going, I want my work to challenge the vitality of my life if it can. And I remember saying, it's not doing that now. I feel like I'm an entertainer, and that's okay, but I'd like to be more than an entertainer. And because I couldn't do the dramatic work I wanted to do, I decided I would quit doing the work I'd been doing, which was the rom-coms. And I was scared I might have been writing myself a one-way ticket out of Hollywood. If you own a lane in Hollywood and you decide to go change that lane, Hollywood goes, what is your major malfunction? Get back in your lane, you know? But I said, no, this is what I'm doing. For 6 months, that's the only thing I got offered. I give a quick read, no, pass. Do a quick read, no, pass. Then they'd come back and they'd raise the money, the offer. I turned one down with a $14.5 million offer. And that was a turning point. After I turned that one down, no offers for anything came in. It sent a message them going, oh my gosh, he's really staked his claim. He's not doing them. I would call my agent every week. Anything, he says, Matthew, I have not even heard your name. I kind of became persona non grata. And after 22 months, almost 2 years, all of a sudden, offers started coming in for Lincoln Lawyer, Killer Joe, Paperboy, Bernie, Mud, Magic Mike, True Detective, Dallas Buyers Club, Wolf of Wall Street. And it was just what I was looking for. Just what I was looking for. And I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. It wouldn't have happened, though, unless I had made that sacrifice 2 years prior. I do enjoy being an actor, and I would say I've done my best acting. I think I've become a better actor when I started to say, that's all I want to be. actor for hire. I don't want to produce. I didn't want to direct. I was like, just sign me up to have one job, be in charge of this character and take ownership of this character that I want, and to have my head down and that be my sole focus. And now politics could be out there. It's a great privileged position of leadership. At the same time, it's a business that needs repurposing. It's a business that's a little bit broken. You know, the book was a version of me saying, I've created the character of myself. I'm also going to write about it. I'm going to tell stories. I'm telling you stories right now. I'm performing stories for you. So am I acting? Well, sure. But I mean, these are stories that I've lived that are true. They're great stories to tell. I'm enjoying this character that I'm playing as the storyteller. I'm going to go investigate and prepare and understand who I've been over the last 50 years. And oh my gosh, there's some great stories here. There's some great lessons. There's some great wisdom. Geez, this is funny. And if I tell it well, when I tell it well, a magical thing happens, which I think is a good example and definition of what art can be.